we live? Ryan, are we live?
Now we're live.
Are we live? Is the mic on? Can people hear me?
Yeah,
People are texting me at the same time. This is amazing. We're trying to get the other mic on because everyone is over there at the couch. Sarah, Melissa, come join me back here.
Hi, Kevin.
Are people? Let's see if people are watching.
Hey! Later.
Hello. Welcome to our November edition of our What's on the Table series.
So what's on the table, we're not starting with this one. We're going to start with our intro because we've got Melissa and Sarah and me and Ryan's over there and Will's over there working on the camera. So let's do the intro video, Ryan.
Yes, let us do that. Okay, it's going to happen.
It's going to happen. It's coming. And then we'll really start.
Yeah.
Hello from Italy.
Here we go.
Oh, we have nothing.
There, it's you guys again.
That's fine. Are we back? Hello! We're going to talk.
It was, but that.
Is it, we have audio? That's a big question.
There's no way it could have been. We never had it plugged in.
Oh, that's so
I thought
sad.
it was.
It's not plugged in. They're working on plugging in that camera, but while they are plugging in the other camera, we're going to talk about Roll for Adventure. So Sarah's going to go set up the other game. Roll for Adventure is from Cosmos. This is a Yahtzee-style co-op game where you are going on an adventure.
It's for 2 to 4 players, and each player has a specific character with special abilities.
Yeah.
So, like being able to manipulate dice or healing people, things like that. On your turn, you're going to roll your dice. And then you can take any dice that are matching and put them into a specific area where the dice match those.
Because there's different, terrain that you can go to?
Right. So I'm taking a look at my dice.
What'd you roll? A 4, 4, 5, 6, and a 2?
Yep.
So you can take your 2 4s and put them somewhere?
And I can put them in this area where they have room for 2 4s. And basically what you're trying to do is complete an area to get a power stone.
That's important.
And you're trying to get all the power stones before you end up dying. Because at the end of your turn, I get to re-roll these, right?
Yes.
And then I can put
Not
more
the end of
dice
your
up.
turn. Yeah, every time you have to you push your dice out, then re-roll it, and then you got to put your dice somewhere so you can put on the 1 there. Perfect. Good job, Melissa.
So after I've done that, then I have to reveal an enemy card.
Ba-boom. Oh, and then he's got to go to the specific spot. All right. And then you do the bad stuffs.
Yes, and then the enemies are going to hurt you. They're going to potentially move the little skull tokens.
Yeah, these skull tokens are pretty
track. Yeah, hopefully we can get a close-up of the skull tokens at some point.
Yeah, well, look at these skulls.
So they're pretty nasty. But you're trying to work together to complete the different goals in all different areas.
Yeah, not only is the skull moving up the track and bad stuff's happening, but your dice are going to, based on these monster cards, your dice are going to go to the vortex and it takes longer to get your dice back, so.
Yeah, we put a ton of monsters out just for the setup to show you kind of a mid-game, but you normally won't hopefully have that many monsters out because you're going to be using your dice to get rid of the monsters and really working together with your special powers and your dice rolls to complete the different areas to get those power stones.
Hello from Thailand, from the UK. It's good to see you. Jeremy, we are looking forward to Tantrum Con as well. Can't wait to see you all. So that is Roll for Adventure from Cosmos. Are we ready for Sarah at the couch?
So, I'm going to be talking about Dust in the Wings. This is from Board and Dice, and this is a very beautiful Mancala style game. In the game, you will be choosing a square out on the board, and you will pick up all of the butterfly tokens on that square. So I might pick this one, and then Mancala style, you will drop them orthogonally through whichever squares you pick. So you might go to this one and then maybe this one. And then wherever you end up with, this will be the square that you will score. You have two different ways to score. There are some composition cards or shape cards that you could score, or you could score one of the gathering cards. So you have to have that entire set of butterflies in that one. So I didn't quite do that. Had I done another move on the board, I probably could have scored one of these. And then once your turn is over, let's pretend that I was able to score this one. I would get a jewel. These are worth, the black ones are worth 1 point at the end of the game, and the white ones are worth 2 points, so a new card would come out. And then I'm going to drop some more out on the board. Whenever a card has 3, they get discarded from the board along with the jewels. So it has a very quick moving through the deck of cards on the board, and then you just keep picking up and placing the butterflies throughout the board like Mancala.
Yeah, I do like Mancala style games. 5 Tribes is one of my favorites, and this has a bit of a similar mechanic, but it is much lighter.
Yes.
I would say, I think as a challenge, I wish you could score both the composition and the gathering at the same time, because I think that would even give you more like thoughtfulness, like, oh, how can I get both of those things going at the same time, as opposed to just scoring one or the other. But it's a very pretty game, but it's a little on the light side, which
is okay. I think it's got a nice table presence, and there are times where I just want to have a light game to play. This one doesn't take real long, 30 minutes to maybe 45 if you have a higher player count. So sometimes it's nice to pull out something light and have an enjoyable afternoon playing games. Kevin, are you ready with your game next?
I am almost ready, but you're welcome to come back here while I just put back the Roll for Adventure, and I am setting up. Karen and Melissa's going to come from the couch, and she's going to be running back and forth today and talking about all these games
Getting
because
my exercise.
That's right, getting your steps in today. So this is Karen from Madigo. It's a 2-player game. And tell us a little bit about this game, Melissa.
So it's 2 players, and you're each playing as a different tribe that is trying to set up these monoliths. Whoever can set up 3 monoliths first is going to win. It reminds me a little bit of Tash Kalar, because you're trying to make certain patterns with your tokens. Basically, you have 3 actions that you can choose from on your turn, and they are represented by tiles on the board. And you would, I think you start with a couple on the board anyway.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
But
I was still setting
I'm just
up.
randomly putting them out there, for example. And then, like, this tile says that I can move orthogonally, so I would move orthogonally, and then you flip the tile over, and your opponent now has a different option. Now it's moving diagonally instead of orthogonally.
So I'm trying to, there's different ways of basically winning, and you're trying to either get across, you're trying to build a monolith, things like that.
Yeah, you're trying to get next to your opponents and make a certain pattern, and if you can make that pattern, you can basically send an opponent back to their pool, and you get to build a monolith. So you're trying to basically arrange your people
in a certain pattern,
to then be able to trap the other person in the pattern. But your choices for actions are switching, and you need to think about, if I do this action, I'm going to give this other action to Kevin. So I need to be careful, because if Kevin can't take that action, then I can set myself up. But he may take the other action, and so the gameplay is simple, but there is definitely strategy involved with those the different actions that you can take and when they actually come out. I think the miniatures are pretty cool. They all have different sculpts. The colors work great. I think the art style is kind of fun. Yeah, there's even these tiles that end up going on the board,
that's right.
the monoliths, and they each have different powers. So basically either landing on them or sometimes landing beside them will let you do certain things, either maybe helping your pieces or moving the other player's pieces. So there's a lot to think about, not just the move I'm making this turn, but what am I going to do next turn, and what am I going to open up for my opponent to do.
So there's different, there is a player aid that talks you through the game turn, but also explains, there is some iconography that you might not understand right away, but they're all explained here on the player aid, so very helpful for that. That's Madigo's Karn.
Yeah, it takes about 25 minutes to play, and I would say it's fairly easy to learn, especially with that player aid that walks you through all the different symbols.
Are the traps you're trying to set up secret?
No.
No, you can see
everything. Yeah, the opponents can see what it is, and they know what's on the other side of the tiles.
Yes,
so.
And when you do make that pattern, you flip the tile over, and now your opponent or whoever is going for another pattern to get the other player.
That was a question on YouTube. Thanks, Ryan. And thank you on YouTube for asking questions, following along, and the insert's cool too. There's the insert's well made. Yeah. So that's Karen.
Show it to the camera. All right, insert.
All right,
okay, I think we're ready to go back to the couch now with Sarah.
Yes, so I'm going to be talking about Tonari. This is from IDW Games, and this is a pretty lightweight set collection game. To start out the game, you are on a little island, and Tonari is a fishing island off the coast of Japan. And, well, I guess all of Japan is islands, but you will move the boat.
Details.
Details. You will move the boat to any adjacent space and take whatever tile is there. And then the next person will move to an adjacent space. When you do, there are different colors of fish tiles, and you are trying to collect probably not diversifying, but collecting lots of a specific set or what you can get. But the way that scoring works is you will score what your score is, and then you will score the neighbor on your left. So where that boat ends up, so let's say Melissa goes there, and then somebody goes here. There are some action tiles that allow you to do certain things. I'm trying to set up Melissa to make some really great choices so that she scores high, but Melissa isn't trying to help me out. She would be helping out the next player. And so we actually had some, the first time we pulled this out, we hadn't fully explained all the rules to Kevin or how scoring works. So I was to one side of Kevin, and I was helping him out, and then he was on the right of Melissa, so he was trying to help Melissa out, and then Melissa didn't help him out because she was trying to help me, and Kevin was like, "Why aren't you helping me?" And she's like, "I don't want you to score."
I'm like, "I don't care about you, Kevin." Your score has nothing to do with me.
So a fun way of scoring, and it is a light game, but pretty enjoyable because you are just trying to collect sets of things and then be mindful of where you go so you can help out your player to your left that is coming after you. There are a few tiles that are special that have an action, and then there's also one tile in the game that has it turns one fish into the fish for that season, and so that one scores double. So if you can happen to get around to the side of the board that has that token, you can score extra points. Something else we're going to talk about really quickly is Gizmos from Come On has a new dispenser for their second edition. So we have the old one to compare. We just pulled out the new one. Just opened the box today.
So the old one is cardboard.
Yep.
And it gets a little bit of wear and tear. And then the new one is plastic. All right, and we haven't even put it together yet, so.
The plastic has to go together?
Well, like I haven't.
We haven't. No, the container part at the top.
Yes.
So some things that may wear out on the old one. I know this piece can come out if you haven't glued it. So it actually holds together quite well, but if you're pulling it in and out of the box a lot, I could see how.
That's cool.
Yes. I like the purple color.
I wonder if it goes over top.
No, it just
This is
says-
why we do things live that we haven't done before. Now, this one may.
Oh, you don't have this punched all the way.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's okay. It's amazing.
It's so easy.
So,
Well, once we get it in the right way.
so does
Yeah.
the game? Oh, I don't know.
The gameplay is the same. I
Yeah.
got it in there.
So, question about Tonari. Does
Yes.
the game end when all the tiles are
No.
on, or when the boat cannot move anymore?
When the boat cannot move. So you may have a game in Tonari where you actually do make it to all of the tokens on the board. Probably not. All the games I've played, there are some that get skipped because there are those up. There's also some that are actions that may or may not be helpful for you at that point in the game, so you may bypass those to pick up other fish. So
Yeah, I think the nice thing about Tonari is because you're trying to help the next player, you're not going to try to hurt them with your move
yeah,
because
Yeah.
you want them to score high.
yes. Okay, got the dispenser.
Back over, back here.
So anyway, Gizmos.
Gizmos dispenser, we got it all.
Oh, do we have the
together.
box top? Sorry, the box top actually says
actually over.
Good job.
second edition new plastic dispenser
Yeah,
on it.
so you
so
can't
that's
tell
how you
easily
can know.
at the store if there are what is available because it does say
Wow,
on-
it's like magic. It
Yeah.
just appeared. So up there, second edition plastic dispenser. That's how you can know if it's the new edition.
and back to Kevin.
Are we back at the table? Is it me? Melissa's gonna come join me. This is The City from Eagle Griffin Games. This is by designer Tom Lehman, and that name might sound familiar with you if you've played games like Race for the Galaxy, Roll
One
for
of my
the
favorites.
Roll for the Galaxy.
Another one of my favorites.
Other ones that he's done, other ones that are coming that we know sneak peeks about, like we saw at Gen Con, some prototypes from Tom, and yeah, so pretty cool. Eagle Griffin put this game out. This is purely a card game. There is some point tokens, but on your in a given round, everyone has a hand of cards, and those cards have numbers in the top left-hand corner. That's the cost. So it's going to range from 1 to like 11. So the way to pay for your cards is with other cards from your hand. So
like Race for the Galaxy.
So like say I wanted to play this card, everyone simultaneously plays one face down, you reveal it, and then you pay the cost. Mine cost 1, so I'd have to take one of these and I would discard it to pay for it. Then thank you for discarding. I appreciate that. Then you look at all the cards in your tableau, and you look at how much income does it provide. Mine provides 1 income, so and Melissa also 1 income. But then
And the income is points.
income is points. Thank you, Melissa. Yeah, getting points. Then you're gonna get cards based on what's in your row 2. Mine says I get a card with every office building. Well, I need to go find an office building then. So a lot of these cards are going to connect or combo with each other, which is kind of cool. So you're looking for, I need office buildings, or I need parks, or I need certain types of icons, and every card might have a...
Right. So, like, I have a strip mall, but I can only play it if I have apartments, a housing track, or something
Oh,
like
which
that.
you already played.
Which I already played.
That's cool.
So you are looking for cards that kind of combo off of each other.
Yeah, not only that, the game is so streamlined. You're looking for cards that will get you more cards, so and then eventually you want a way, because you want a lot of cards in your hand, so you can pay for those high point buildings.
Yeah, this one's 9.
Oh.
I'm not even close to 9 at this point.
So then the game is over when someone reaches a certain number of points. Usually, I've played this quite a few times, usually 7 or 8 rounds, so it's quick. So basically you're only playing like 7 or 8 cards in front of you, and the game's over. So.
Yeah, so it's a really quick one. Much easier to understand than Race for the Galaxy
Yeah.
with the symbology and icons.
Yeah, Will probably could handle this one.
That's right. So it's quick, like Kevin was saying, but still has a little bit of that
Yeah.
feel.
So if you're looking for a quick card game, you like that, what we were talking about with paying for cards or things like that, then check out The City from Eagle Griffin Games. Back to the couch.
Hey,
I want to talk to you guys about Cutthroat Caverns, the Anniversary Edition. This is an updated version of the original Cutthroat Caverns. It has a few new encounters to it. What they've really done is just overhauled the whole game with the art, especially, and the components. So it's just higher quality, and it just looks a lot better. It's easier to play. They tweaked a few of the rules. So let me show you a few of the differences. Here I have the original game, and you'll see that here's the same character card on both. This one, the original, you know, the tracker can slide around, but now you have this grooved in area, so you can just move your token down and you don't accidentally mess up where your life is as you play. And then they did the same thing for the creatures that you fight. You have this track instead of this one, so it's just a lot easier to not mess up, because, you know, things get shifted around and bumped, and you don't know if they were at 5 or 105, but now that's not going to happen anymore. So very cool that they did this. I really like it whenever people invest in their components. And then they just went through and updated the artwork, so it's less cartoony. There's a lot more realistic style art to it. This game, just if you haven't played Cutthroat Caverns, it's kind of like a dungeon crawler. You do these different encounters to it, but as you're going through, you're going to face different villains, like, you know, the anti-paladin or the archmages or this axe warrior. And depending on how many people are playing, there will be a different amount of life that you have to whittle down. And everybody has their own deck of cards. But what you're doing is you're sort of working together, but you're also trying to backstab your opponents. So you want to contribute just enough that you will do the killing blow on the enemy. And you have initiative cards to see whose damage is dealt first. So everybody's damage is going to be dealt in initiative order. You want to do just enough to actually kill the monster and be the one to kill it, not so much that you, maybe you played a high card and you didn't kill it, and then the next person would kill it. They're the ones who get all the points. But if you don't do enough damage, then the monster will attack everybody every turn, and I don't think his damage is blockable, so you might all receive damage or poison or something as a result of the monster attacking, and you want to avoid that. So you have to work together to defeat these monsters, but you don't want to work together so much that you're giving points to other people, so you got to kind of time and be a little bit selfish in how you deal out that damage. Overall, it's a fun game, and they did a really good job with the Anniversary Edition. I like the upgraded components, and hopefully not opponents too much. So, that is Cutthroat Caverns, Anniversary Edition. Are we ready?
Yeah, we are. Table time. Table time. All right. So we do have some comments from some people that have upgraded their Etsy. They blinged it out. Some people have put lights in the dispenser
For Gizmos?
For Gizmos.
Mm-hmm.
So that's kind of cool. And then someone bought a custom dispenser on Etsy. David's asking if there have been any surprises for us this year, especially gems you've discovered at cons. Well, we are working on our top 10 list for 2019. So David, we're gonna keep our mouths closed for right now, and you have to check out some of those videos coming out in December. So we're working on some of that. But anyway, Obscurio, Melissa.
So, this is kind of Mysterium meets Dixit, I would say.
Sure.
It's for
2 to 8 players.
2 to 8 players.
Yeah.
And you're going to have one player be the Grimoire, the person kind of like in Mysterium who's the ghost. And then the other players are all going to be trying to exit this mansion. And the Grimoire is trying to help those players. The twist is there is a traitor in this game. So one of the players is trying to not be helpful. What's going to happen is the Grimoire is going to look at a card, and this card is going to be the exit. That's the one that we're trying to get the players to guess.
But
I then flip over 2 more cards, and I put them in the book.
And this is cool. I mean, I just love the components.
And I have 2 tokens that I can use to point to a specific part of the image. Wow.
You picked a good one. I'm not looking. I don't know what's happening. No.
Yes.
That's a good thing. So anyway, she's going to be trying to find similarities between the two.
And I can do it on both pictures, one picture, not the other. I've done 2 on this one picture. And then what I would do is I would give this book to all the players to look at. They can look at it. Okay, looks like she's pointing to this, that. That's interesting. Now I have all the players close their eyes.
Right.
They all close their eyes, and I have the trader open their eyes. I have this book of other pictures, and the trader can choose up to 2 that are going to be included in the 6 pictures that the group has to choose from. None of these are the correct image. So they're like, oh, green, orange things, maybe we'll do this one, I'll put another one in, they'll have another choice, and they may say, let's go with this one. So then these 2, the one that is the correct one, and then 3 random ones get all shuffled together and put out. So now there are 6 options for the players to choose from.
And everyone has their own colored token that then they all decide where they think the true picture is, and they're going to put their token on the exit. So they'll be like, oh, there's a circle thing. Maybe it's this circle thing. Or there's, I don't know what that is. Is that some sort of like lava thing? That could be it. So there's lots of misleading things.
Yes. And there's a timer going on.
What?
And the longer it takes for them to figure it out, the more traps or curses the Grimoire has to draw at the beginning of the next round. And those are going to be things that make it harder for everyone to get to the exit.
But the nice thing is, everyone doesn't have to go on the same exit. So someone could decide to, like, let's chance it and sort of spread our luck out a little bit. But that does hurt the players, because if the more they have out, the worse. I forget what these are called.
Yeah, there's some tokens that basically are the counter of how much life the team
That's true.
has.
The life tokens,
so for each picture that is not correct, they're going to have to take away a token. If no one's correct, that's even worse. So your trader doesn't know what the correct picture is, but they know up to two of the wrong ones. So they may be trying to say, oh, I really think that this is probably the picture. So there's a lot of discussion that's going on, but there's that timer. So they can't be too long trying to figure out where they want to place their things. And then there's a certain number of rounds that they need to go through. Once you get to the last round, if you still have tokens left, you can play the last round. And there's some more rules that make it even more difficult, where the players can't talk to each other, and they have to simultaneously decide where to go instead of kind of waiting to see where everyone else goes.
And there's even some tokens that come out of the bag that make it even harder for the players. There's these sort of screens that go over, so it's like it's hard to look through. There's this, which makes the color disappear on the card. So there's lots of things going on in the game. If you enjoy Mysterium, if you've heard of One Key, if you like a more co-op type game, this one it does involve a trader. I think it just gives a little bit more attention to the game.
I think this one, because you're giving the clues to the whole group instead of like, oh, Kevin, these are your clues for your thing, it feels more collaborative and more cooperative in Obscurio than Mysterium.
All right, the couch.
All right, let's talk about Gobble Out, the Gobble Aid. A bunch of made-up words, a little bit of a mouthful. This game, the idea is the Goblin King has died, and under his reign it was very prosperous, so everybody wants just the right goblin to take his place. And the way you determine that is a Goblin Aid, which is kind of a tournament of the best goblins. Whoever ends up still having teeth at the end of the tournament wins. So everybody has 10 teeth, and I really like how they reuse these components, because these are like the same irregular diamonds from the Diamonds game that you see in other games. but they're white, so these represent your teeth, and you're trying to hold on to these. You have a deck or a hand of 5 cards, and the cards can either be reds, purples, blues, or a mix of other ones. The reds and purples are all, and the blues, and the red blues are all going to be always the same type of card. So reds deal 1 damage, purples deal 2, blues block a damage, red blues can either deal damage or block a damage, and then you've got your special cards. The white cards, you can only ever play 1 per turn, but if you manage to get 5 white cards played, that gives you 5 prestige points, 1 prestige point every time you play one. If you get 5 prestigious points, you don't have to knock out everybody else's teeth, and then you win if you get 5 prestige points. So you definitely want to take advantage of these and the powers that they give you. And they do have different powers on them that let you strategize and do different things. And then you also have yellow cards. You can play these at any time, even during someone else's turn, I believe. And they also have variant powers on them, which kind of shake things up. The trick is, as you play the game, you're going to start the game by rolling a die, and you can only play cards from your hand that match that symbol. So each turn, you go like this. You can take from your 5 cards and discard a few cards to hope and take some, discard some, draw new ones, and hope that they match your die. If they don't match your die, you may or may not roll your die 1 time. So maybe we'll roll, and here I got a white and a blue. So I'd only be able to play those from my hand. The blues aren't going to help you attack other people and lose teeth, but the whites let you earn points. So that's how you do that. When you defend, you also get a chance to play some cards. You will roll the die and draw a card as well, and then you'll be able to see what cards you can defend with. So you want to try to defend with the cannon fodder and the super goblin to prevent other people from doing damage to you. And so it looks like it's just going to be a really fun game. The odds of the die are pretty interesting because you either have a 1 damage, a 1 or 2, and then 1 damage and a white, 2 damage and a white, a block and a white, or a block and 2 damage. So there's a good chance that you might be able to just avoid punching people's teeth out and play those 5 white cards, but you gotta be careful because other people might knock yours out first because you only have 10 teeth, and if someone manages to get 5 of these, their whole hand of purple cards, they could wipe you out if you can't defend it in the first turn. So it looks like it'll be a pretty fast game. Goblin Out the Gobble Aid from Exod Games. Check it out. How you guys doing back there?
Good enough. I'm ready. Hey guys, welcome. I'm here now.
What? Will's here?
Surprise!
Will needs to sit down.
Whole time.
Will wants to switch.
I'm so tall. That's
Let's
right.
switch.
Okay.
Here, have
We
a
can do
seat.
this. Hello, live audience. So the game we're looking at is Aqua Cornucopia from Renegade Game Studios. This is the second in their line of story-based games from a cool person who wrote the same story that's in the T-Dragon Society. Can't think of what her name is, but she's illustrated a couple books. They've made a game over there. Now they've introduced this one. It's a cooperative game where everyone in the game will be playing a character from Aqua Cove, and they each have their own unique deck of cards, which I didn't get separated, but each character has a deck of cards that they'll be playing with, and the game takes course over the time span of 2 years, and each season you will have the opportunity to take up to 7 different actions, and so you and the other players, depending on your player count, will play 1 card from your hand face down, and then you'll reveal that card, and when you do, it will go under the matching number section down here. And the card that I just played, I have the choice of playing it, is either a 3, a 4, or a 6, and so I pick which one I want to do. Maybe I want to build with this card for this round, and the other players will play their hand as well. And then the cool thing about the game is that everything is kind of laid out for you, so you get to kind of walk through the steps each round. The first step is always going fishing, and so one player will get to do some fishing, and they'll pull some tokens out of the bag, and they'll add them to their fishing boat over here. And this will tell you the number of food that you collect for the round. So that tuna would give me two food to add to our food pile down here. If you pull pollution, oh, I just pulled this out. Pollution gets added, fills up a spot on your boat, and at the end of the fishing, it will go over here into your lake. And the health of your wreath is one of the things that you'll be tracking through the game. The more pollution you get, obviously the further down you go, the more often you clean your, there's some cards that have like a sponge on it that cleans the ocean and allows you to move up this track. And then you'll walk through each step. If you pull the mythical, not mythical, I don't know what it's called when you're in a myth, but the legendary Aqua Corn from the bag, they come and live in your wreath, which is great, and they help you out through the game. You get to draw cards from the special Aqua Corn thing, and they're always good, so you always want to draw those. They always help you out, give you resources, or help you clean things. Then you do some planting. You can plant some pumpkins, and each harvest season on the board, you'll get to pull pumpkins that you've been planting throughout the season into your food bank. So that's a really rich round, each third round of the game, sixth, whatever. And then you'll use those resources either as food to feed your town, because you're trying to grow the prosperity of your village. So you'll feed that number of people at the end of each round with your food. Whatever you have to be really well in your balancing of things, because these same resources can be used for building. And as you build out your city, you will go up the prosperity track, and you'll also get little bonuses at the end of the round that will be food or buildings or things like that. Every once in a while, you will hit a storm season, which is no fun. And so you'll roll the number of storm dice based on how healthy and how bad of a storm, how your wreath looks. And then these dice match the little symbols for your town, and they knock out places in your town. So building inland is usually helpful, because it helps you to, if I have these all spread out and I roll one on each of these, I'm going to lose one. Dice roll is going to be random, obviously, but if you're further in, you've kind of protected that town. So definite strategy in how you build out the town. As you multiplay, you are allowed to talk to each other. You're not allowed to tell each other exactly what cards you have, but you can say things like, I'm going to be able to clean this time, so I'm playing a 3, or I've got some options. Whenever you draw the Aqua Corn card, everybody also gets a bonus card as well out of one of the decks that gives you extra special cards as well. You've got events that I left off at the very beginning. An event card comes out each round. So lots of different things going on in the game, but because it walks you through the season, the iconography is really good. You've got your planting and your harvesting seasons, and because you're taking these 7 actions, as soon as you play the first season, and you walk through the process, everybody knows what they're doing for the rest of the game. So then it's just a matter of optimizing, how far up can I get both of these tracks by the end of the game. And then because it is like a novel and a story-based scenario, the instruction manual gives you a score based on both things. So you could be really healthy, you saved the wreath, all the animals love you, but your city is doing poorly, nobody has returned after the terrible storm, and everyone's sad. But if you're able to max out both of them, obviously you get this really grandiose, everybody loves you, the reef is going well, health, prosperity, blessings. I got the chance to play this at Renegade's booth at Essen, and taught it to a bunch of different people, and it was enjoyable because youngsters were able to jump in, and because it's cooperative, you're able to help, but there is a decent amount of strategy that goes into, do we save some of this food for the next harvest so that we've got more to pay for and we can build better buildings? Each of them has a unique cost on it. Lots of different things to consider. Really enjoyed just the brightness of it. I haven't read the novel for it at all, but the art style is really slick, and there's a lot of unique art on all of the cards, which is really nice. So
yeah, I haven't played this one, that's why I didn't really say anything, but it looks cute, and I can see what you were saying about it's all numbered, it all has this structure to it that kind of walks you through. So
yeah, I basically gave you the entire game rules. So there's a couple other things on like how you treat pollution and when it goes back into your bag and muddies up your pool.
So you may have said that. Do you draw a certain number of cards, or do you have all these cards?
Yeah, everybody has their own unique deck.
Do you have access to all of them, or
yes,
only a few?
Well, if you play only 2 players, then I think the cards are generally, maybe there's one different in each deck. I think otherwise they are essentially the same, and so in a lower player count you both play 2 cards, higher player count you play
but it's
1
not
card
like
each.
I draw 5 of these and can only choose from those.
No, you do actually only get to play this entire hand for the course of the game, I think.
So once it's
believe.
played, it's gone, or something like that.
Yeah, I'd have to double check. They may come back into your hand, but I'm pretty sure what you actually do is you draw 3 in your hand.
So you have a choice.
That's what you choose from, and then each round you add 1 more to your hand, so you will run out by the end of the game. Cool stuff, Aqua Cornucopia. I think they're ready back over at the couch.
And I think you need to go over there.
Okay, let's do it.
Let's do it. So,
I'm coming, Ryan, I'm coming.
we're going to talk about Munchkin DuckTales.
Woohoo!
In terms of general gameplay, it's pretty much Munchkin, but just with a DuckTales veneer, which is not a bad thing by any stretch of the imagination.
It's definite upgrade.
So,
no offense to you dungeon dwellers.
one thing that is slightly different from the regular Munchkin is instead of having a race and a class, you just have your character and a class. So you can be one of the main characters of the game, of the show. So Scrooge, one of his nephews,
Definitely Launchpad.
Webby, or Launchpad McQuack. Regular game, you're going to be kicking the door down and facing whatever encounter you have. So there might be a curse or a bonus or one of the classic enemies or antagonists of the show. So you've got the Beagle Boys and
Gold.
their that door down, and then if you didn't face a enemy, you then can, just like the main game, either look for trouble from your hand, or you can loot the room. And then the different things, the treasure cards, there's the magic lamp from the DuckTales movie, very cool.
Best movie.
His cane, portraits, all sorts of stuff that can add to your ability to
Junior
defeat
Woodchuck
stuff.
Guidebook, yeah.
Yeah, so you try to gain as much power as you can so you can fight these enemies. Meanwhile, every time you succeed at defeating an enemy, your level goes up on your character, and then whoever hits level 10 first wins. Just like with the regular game, though, there's a lot of take that. So if someone's fighting an opponent and it looks like they're going to win, you could play a wandering monster and play an enemy that they have to defeat as well. But I think how it goes is with the Beagle Boys, they can be played as wandering monsters at any time. So they're very beagly and annoying. And then I think there are some cards that let other monsters or enemies be played as Beagle Boys. So that puts a nice spin to it. So check it out, DuckTales Munchkin. It looks like it might be a classic.
So the real question is this on Disney Plus yet?
Yes,
So,
both DuckTales are on Disney+.
Binge watch.
Yes.
Binge worthy for sure. I got my top hat used by gazillionaires only, my aviator hat, which I think apparently other players can use. You can navigate anything, an additional +1 with a vehicle. The woodchuck hat used by junior woodchucks only. Love it. I might have to play Munchkin again.
Yeah. So thank you so much for joining us.
Is that it? Are we done?
are you switching back?
I was only on 10 seconds.
We're gonna switch to you guys.
Switch into what,
So
guys?
Will and so Ryan and Sarah's gonna switch. So we
Oh,
can
so
end it.
yeah, I'm gonna walk over here.
I mean, we can all... Oh, because we have to push the closeout button.
But do we
goodbye
have
anyway.
any questions?
Yeah, do we get any
Do
comments?
we have
Bye,
anything?
bye, Ryan. Thanks for coming. Thanks for
who's
letting me
looking at
sit on the
comments?
couch.
I've been looking at comments. People said that the close-up camera didn't have any
I know.
audio.
I missed
Sound.
it.
Oh no, we
Sorry.
did it again. Someday we'll get it right. Today we were behind. We did do a little bit of filming this morning where we might have recorded our top 10 guys videos for
Don't give away secrets.
2019, and Kevin's #1 game is.
That's
So
a
be sure
surprise.
to check that one out next week. And then yeah, we jumped into this.
It's not gonna
because
go till live till December, but that's all right.
December. We're holding out. You guys are gonna be, now you know you can have anticipation problems for the next month.
Yep.
Unless there was any questions though, I think that pretty much wraps us out.
Katie's on board now. Katie couldn't make it. Farron's not feeling well.
baby,
So
Farron.
don't forget about something huge coming up next year. in
By next year,
January.
it's only like a month or two away.
Yeah.
Tantrum Con. We want you to come if you can make it all the way from Thailand or England. That'd be great.
Come from wherever, yeah.
What
Somebody...
are the dates for that?
Good idea.
January 31st through February 2nd.
30th through the 2nd.
Yeah, welcome to come that Thursday night.
Yeah.
Yeah, registration will be open that night, so we're having kind of a pre-con open gaming that evening if you're available, and then we have 3 full days packed of events and fun board gaming activities like tournameals, and we
gonna be
have
amazing.
some
Table flipping tournaments.
Table flipping tournaments. so
Giovanni
should
wants to
be
know
fun.
what games from Essen are we playing more?
We didn't actually get a whole lot from us.
Yeah, well, yes, we sort of did, Melissa. Because
Some of them we had it early.
we have Essen games before Essen. So, yes. So, Paris, New Eden, Trismegistus. So I think Melissa and I are going to play that today with some friends coming over. So, we've just
We got
got...
some hobby games last night. We
Yep.
almost pulled out Clip Cut Parks, but our guests had to run.
They had to cut and run.
They did. They didn't get to cut and run. They just had to run.
We are playing Taverns of Tiefenthal, which is, I think, came out at last year's Essen, but finally coming to the United States. So, yeah.
And then we also play Dark Side Rising this last week.
That's definitely an Essen release that
Yeah.
no one can get in the US.
Yeah, sorry.
Well, I don't even know if it's available in Europe yet.
What?
Yeah, I'm not sure
Yeah,
what
what?
the actual dates were on, because I know it was a little later than they were hoping.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe
Keep an
it's-
eye out for it. You'll want it. It's
if
pretty
you're in
cool.
Europe or across the pond, then you can definitely check out that coming soon. So,
One other note on the Tantrum Con thing, our premier badges are limited. So if you're interested in getting those, you need to hop on the boat now. There's a boat for that. And we will be releasing our event schedule in January, right at the beginning of the year. And so our premium backers will get first dibs on all those events and our premier food events, the Torta meals.
Yep.
Those are sponsored events where people are going to get cool games and meals and lots of fun stuff.
yeah, Premier Badges is going to get some cool stuff.
Hotels are also somewhat limited. I know I got some questions through email this past week about hotel reservations and stuff. So the Marriott is a super nice hotel. The area that we're playing in is really bright, really good
I
lighting.
heard a
nice space.
sidewall pizza just went in next door.
Really?
But
But
I-
conveniences. There's a Krispy Kreme.
I know it's
like,
not. What's it? The other pizza
It's
place.
not
Donato's.
Donato's. That's worth the extra 20-minute drive, also in Spartanburg. But yeah, we'd love to have you guys join us for sure. Any other questions?
No
Good to
more
roll?
questions.
Thanks, Ryan, for running stuff.
And Sarah and
Thanks,
Will.
Katie, for tuning in.
Yeah.
Good
And
job
thanks for all of our
for
viewers.
the most part. Yeah, thank you guys so much. See y'all next time. Bye.
Bye.